first graders. Today is Packet 3, Day 5, and our story is Animals of the Arctic. So, the Arctic is a snowy place. Come meet some animals that live in this icy habitat. Polar bears live in the Arctic. These big white animals live mostly on land. They also spend time in the cold Arctic Ocean. Polar bears look for food in holes in the ocean ice. They like to eat seals and walruses. The white snowy owl flies in the Arctic. In the daytime, it hunts for food. The snowy owl can eat some small animals whole. Seals swim in the Arctic Ocean. They can catch fish to eat. They like to slide on the ice too. So our first question is, what is the weather like in the Arctic? So if we have polar bears and snow and snowy owls and seals, what do you think? Do you think it's hot and sunny? Probably not. Cold and rainy? Well, I definitely think cold, but I'm not so sure about rainy. Or cold and snowy? Yeah, I would say cold and snowy, right? Because it says polar bears like to play in the snow. Okay, number 2. This text gives us information about animals that live in the Arctic. What are some of the animals that live in the Arctic? What did we learn about? Tigers, lions, and elephants? Nope, not that one. Polar bears, snowy owls, and seals. That one sounds right. And deer, bears, or snakes. Yep, not that one either. If we weren't sure, we could go back to our story. And here are the 3 animals. Polar bears, snowy owls, and seals. So our choice for this one is going to be choice B. Number 3. Polar bears spend some time in the Arctic Ocean. What does this information tell us about polar bears? So the Arctic Ocean is like a big pool of water. So does that mean that polar bears can swim? Polar bears can breathe underwater? Or polar bears are afraid of the water? So if they spend time in the Arctic Ocean, they're probably not afraid of the water. Do bears breathe underwater? Can a bear breathe underwater? No. What's the only animal that can breathe underwater? Fish, right? Because they have gills. So we learned from this story that polar bears can swim in the water, right? Number 4. What is Animals of the Arctic mostly about? So this is like our main idea. What's the main idea? Animals that live in the Arctic? That sounds about right. Where the Arctic is on the globe. And polar bear diets. So I know we talked about polar bears. But we didn't really talk about where it was. So I'm going to cross that one off. So I know that we talked about polar bears. And we did talk about what they eat. But did we only talk about polar bears? What were the other animals that we talked about? Polar bears, snowy owls, and seals. So if we talked about all of those things, was it only about polar bear diets? No, that was just one of the key details. So we're going to say that it was all about, or the main idea was that it was all about animals that live in the Arctic. So number 5, we just have to finish this sentence. It says, when do snowy owls hunt for food? Okay, and they started us for us. Snowy owls hunt for food in the, so let's go back to our story and see. The white snowy owl flies in the Arctic. In the daytime, it hunts for food. So what time of day? Nighttime or daytime? Daytime, good. In the daytime. Then make sure you put a period at the end. And number 6, what did you learn from Animals of the Arctic? Well, we can kind of go back up to this one and we can say what we learned. What did we learn? Yeah, so we learned about the different animals that live in the Arctic. We learned about the different animals that live in the Arctic. Remember when we're doing our complete sentences, you are starting with a capital letter, and you have your punctuation at the end. So this time my capital letter was W, and my punctuation is a period. So number 7, list all 5 animals mentioned in the text that live in the Arctic. So I'm just going to do a list. We know that we have polar bears, and then we learned about the snowy owls and seals, right? Those are the ones that we listed, but those are only 3, which means that there's 2 others. So let's go back to our story and see here. We've got polar bears look for food in holes in the ocean ice. They eat seals, which we already used, and walruses. That's a new one. And then let's go back down here. Seals swim in the Arctic Ocean and they catch fish. So those are our other 2. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Walruses and fish. We need to add those to our list here. So let's jump on in here. Walruses and fish. There we go. And number 8, you're going to do this one on your own. Draw a picture of a snowy owl in the Arctic. So I want you to think about what a snowy owl would look like. What color do you think a snowy owl would be? Yeah, it's going to be white, and I want you to think about what the Arctic might look like. What's going to be around a lot in the Arctic? If there's polar bears, there's going to be ice and water and snow, and I want you to draw a whole bunch of that stuff. So here's our math for the day. We're writing the number that's written here. So let's sound this out together. T-E-N. 10. Good. And this is the word 15. So this is another pattern that we have here. Up, down, then what's the next one? Up, and then down. Excellent. You guys did great. And then this one is a circle, square, circle, square, circle. Now we have to make sure that we put our box around our circle. And then this one is a square. Good. And then what goes in the square? An X. Good. Excellent. Now here we're doing some addition. So they drew a picture for us if we need help. So 4 plus 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Excellent job. And this one, 3 plus 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Remember, adding means that we're putting 2 things together. So here we're going to circle the letter A or B that has more. Let's count them to find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 here. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So which number is bigger, 4 or 5? Excellent. 5 is bigger. And here we're going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3. 3 for letter A. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for letter B. Which one is bigger, 3 or 7? Exactly right. 7 is bigger, so we're going to circle B. Here we're filling in the missing numbers. So what number comes before 16? 15. Excellent. And 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Very good. And then this one, what one comes before? Which direction does this look like it's going? Up or down? 15, 14, blank, 12. Down. So if this is going down from here, this one would have to be bigger than 15 or littler than 15? Bigger. Good. So this is going to be 16, 15, 14, 13. Excellent. That's all that we have for today. If you have any questions, let me know. I miss you so much. Bye, friends.